everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Anea and I'm pregnant. Today I'm going to be talking to you about week 5. I just finished it yesterday. I'm on week 6 now. Excuse my hat. I need to get my hair done, which is due at the end of the week, so I'll be looking fresh for the next video. We're going to be starting off by talking about some developmental things for the baby that happened last week. Then we'll get into some symptoms that I experienced, and then we'll do a little belly bump. So, last week the baby was the size of an orange seed, about 3 millimeters long, and its heart was the size of a poppy seed, which was actually how big it was the week previous to that. Like, that's how big the baby was a week previous to that. So it's crazy to think that the baby grew a heart the size that it was. Obviously, the heart is still developing, but it is starting to function. At this point, the embryo looks more like a tadpole rather than a bundle of cells like it might have done the week prior, and it's still not quite looking like a baby yet at this point, but we're getting this tadpole-like look. It's also developing the nervous system. Its neural tube is developing. Last week, I believe it was still open. In this coming week that I'm in, I'm pretty sure it closes, but I'll get more into that next week. So yeah, that's the developmental side of the baby. Now for my other notebook. This is the notebook that I like track my symptoms in. So, as I said in the last video, if you aren't interested in the TMI, I'd skip to the end of this video now, where we're getting into the bump shot, but we'll get into the symptoms now. So, I've still been noticing mild cramps. They aren't exactly every day anymore like they were previously, but they are still quite frequent, and they don't last long either. So, I've also been having some mild chest pain. Now, I will preface that when I say chest, I don't mean like your chest. I like to use gender neutral terms, and so when I'm saying chest, I'm referring to the breasts. So I've had some mild chest pain, some mild headaches. I've been having some acne, like I have like quite a bit along here. And I've been also noticing, oddly enough, behind my ears and like along the nape of my neck, which is kind of interesting. I've been dealing with some mild gas, same as last week, a lot of trapped gas that causes a bit of pain. And I've also been noticing some bloating. I often don't notice bloating as much because it's something that I deal with relatively frequently already because of my irritable bowel syndrome symptoms. But I have started to notice that I'm kind of looking a little Winnie the Pooh-esque, where the bottom of my belly is poking out of the bottom of my shirts a lot. So that's a little bit different. I'm not usually quite that bloated. I am thankful though that for the most part I'm not bloating enough that I'm in any pain from it. Now and again I am, but I think that's also mostly my fault for eating a lot of food. I've also noticed that my libido has been a little bit higher than it normally is. I normally have quite a low libido, so that's been kind of interesting. And as I said last week, I have still been utterly exhausted. I'm still taking daily naps. I'm actually planning on taking one after I'm done recording this video. I might be having a little bit of cravings. I've never really been someone to eat chicken salad sandwiches, um, especially growing up. Like the idea of that was really gross. I'm not like a mayo person, and I have a lot of like texture things or like issues, and if something visually looks gross, I have a hard time wrapping around my brain the idea of eating it, which to me, chicken salad looks kind of gross. Um, but it's something that I've been eating every day for like the last week, and I literally just made some more for this week. I can't get enough of it, so I guess I could say that's like my first pregnancy craving. Sorry, that word totally left my brain. Um, and while these aren't symptoms, this is another thing that happened this week that I'll talk about. So on Thursday of last week, that was, I don't remember the day, like the number, but anyway, it was Thursday. And that was my first prenatal appointment. My partner Tristan came with me because I was going to be getting blood work, and I have quite a big phobia of needles. However, I will say that I'm quite proud of myself that I stayed relatively calm, and I only cried a little bit after it was all over just because I was really overwhelmed and had a lot of pent up emotion. But normally I'm like crying and freaking out and all of that throughout the entire, like as soon as I get on the bed to get the blood work done. And there wasn't any of that. I just made sure to keep my breathing going, and the nurse that I was with was really good at chatting and keeping me distracted. Um, so yeah, it went really well. The following day, that Friday, I got a call in the morning to talk over my blood work. Everything looked really good except for my thyroid. Blood work that I had previous to being pregnant, it showed a possibility of subclinical hypothyroidism. But my nurse practitioner said that a lot of things can make the thyroid a little wonky, and so that I was going to need to get blood work again to actually confirm that diagnosis, and that it just wasn't like a weird thing happening that day. And so this blood work that I got would have been the blood work confirming it. And my thyroid was still a little wonky, nothing crazy as it is still subclinical. Also, if you might hear my dog whining, she really wants in, but we're almost done, Fifi. So the nurse said that it wasn't something to worry about too much, but that since I was pregnant, they were going to put me on a medication. If I wasn't pregnant, they said that they would probably leave it untreated because it's so minuscule. Um, but they want to be better. They want to be safe, better safe than sorry. So I'm just on like a little medication. I just take like a pill in the morning, like a half an hour to an hour before I eat. Um, and then I'll be getting blood work to see how that's working in April. Um, yeah, the only like thing that I'm a little nervous about is that it technically can cause miscarriage, or not the medication, but the subclinical hypothyroidism can sometimes cause miscarriage or like premature birth. But I'm hoping that since we are dealing with it pretty early, that we'll nip that in the butt and that won't be an issue. But yeah, that's everything that happened last week. And we'll finish this video up with a little bump update, which again, still isn't a bump, but there's some bloat, so there's that. So this is what we're working with this week. I find that like the little underneath of my belly right here is starting to pop out from under a lot of shirts. Um, Again, nothing super crazy going on. Um, but yep, that's it. Whoop. And that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, bye.